Hey, what's up everybody? It's Kellen here from Start Your Systems. Welcome back to MXGP Pro. Today I'm going to do a little bit of time trialing, I should say, on the SX track on the compound on my little pretty much bone stock CRF 450 here. And we're going to do it in the rain because I want to talk a little bit more about the kind of effects that the rain has to the ground in this game, which I've noticed just a little bit in playing some of the rain a little bit so far. This track does a pretty good job of like making it feel like the ground is very slippery. I kind of did like a couple laps on this track a little bit, and now coming back to play it again, I really can feel the bike moving around underneath me. So I'm going to use this video as kind of a showing of what the air physics are like and what the ground physics with the rain are like. Kind of talk you through that a little bit and show off the Supercross track, which some of you probably have already seen some of the gameplays on the Supercross track that was released by the MXGP team, but maybe you haven't seen it while it's raining in the forest up here, so show that off a little bit, talk about the feeling of the bike underneath me as I try to ride this track, which it's not easy, Supercross in the rain. And like I said, I feel like they did a pretty good job, at least on this track, of making the ground feel like kind of like ice a little bit because it's so sloshy and muddy. I'm kind of interested to see if I kind of keep going around the track a couple more times, if the lines that I'm taking will kind of develop in a little bit, and maybe I can hit the ruts and see what it feels like. You can already see there's a rut in that corner. So yeah, the ruts are definitely there. Curious to see how deep they get and what they form like. But just on face value, I can tell you, I am definitely like sliding around a little bit, and I'm trying to brake coming into the corners, and it's just kind of sliding into the corners, which anybody who's ever ridden in the mud before, when it gets really slippery, knows that that's kind of what it does. So that's right there what kind of a whip looks like. It's really kind of a weird format because it's still the same buttons. You either turn the sticks in towards each other or push them away from each other, which it tells you how to do that in the tutorial. But it definitely doesn't seem to work like it used to in the previous titles of the game, MXGP3 or Monster Energy Supercross the game, which is the same developers that put this title out. I'm trying to get used to it. I think it could just be a product of I'm doing it wrong, and so that's why it feels a little bit weird, but it also just doesn't seem like it works. I don't know. Like I said, that's why I'm trying to use this video as like a test to not only feel those mud physics a little bit, but also kind of show off the air physics a little bit so you guys can get a better view. Now you get to race a ghost. It's just sliding all the way through that corner. It's weird because in first person, like, I guess there's nobody in front of me, but I have done a mud race in first person, and literally nothing gets on your goggles except for the water that's falling out of the sky, aka rain. I don't know, I called it water falling out of the sky. But you would expect to see like some mud get on your goggles or something like that, but it just definitely is not the case. It's just the water, which is weird because that's pretty unrealistic, but maybe it's just something that they'll focus on moving forward when it comes to graphical impressions. So even though I am on a very stock 450, and maybe I don't have my tires upgraded or what, it's a little bit of an ice rink out here. Feels cool though, because it's got a unique feel to it, one that I haven't felt in playing these games yet. Where it's really slippery. Like you can see I'm struggling to get going just because there's no traction. Clicking up to a higher gear just to try to get something going. I'm sliding all over the place. And this game is pretty graphically impressive, I should say. MXGP2 I thought was better looking than MXGP3 was. I don't know like why that is. It just felt that way to me. But this game, I feel like, definitely stepped it up in the graphics department. I mean, look at this. This is really nice looking. The whole environment. Just try to whip this way. See, it's such a weird looking whip, and it's really hard because you actually do have to bring it back. Like you have to use the left stick, interestingly enough, which is the turning for the motorcycle, to bring the machine back around to center. And it's hard. Whoa, double fall off. And I'm still just not even kind of used to this whole, if you come up short or over jump something, you have fall off crashes, because I mean, that should happen. That's what happens if you mess up a section in real life and either really overshoot a jump or case one really hard. So I'm not sure if that's something that they really wanted to focus in on working with this game, so you had to be more precise. But I like it so far. I like that technical aspect of it. Obviously, playing on pro physics and just trying to get used to the game through the pro physics side of it, I'm kind of learning as I go what is okay and not okay in this game as compared to what I know about the series from beforehand. But so far, I really like some of the changes that they've worked on when it comes to the realistic aspects of the game. Things like that, like sliding through a corner, body getting all kind of like out of shape with the movements there. Scrub the crap out of this. Nice. And I brought it back, which I've been not doing very well. Trying to just lug it through this corner so I can do this triple, and coming up short. See, there you go. Coming up short, falling off the bike. That's new. I mean, seriously, go play MXGP3, go play Monster Energy Supercross the game. You can come up short on just about anything and be totally fine. In this game, not the case. I might crash here even. Oh, no. I'm still a little curious to see if that's going to kind of come back to annoy me, though. Not so much that it shouldn't be realistic like that, but there is some things that in real life, you know, the best pros in the world can kind of jump things to pretty far flat and still ride out of it no problem. And I've noticed that there's a couple spots in this game already where I've tried to do that, and it's been like, no, you're not going to do that. Trying to develop like an inside rut right there. Kind of had one right there. Really want to see what it feels like to actually connect into one of these ruts cleanly, though. Let's scrub it again. Nice. Still very pre-staged kind of looking. But I don't know. I'm indifferent about the pre-staged looking whips. And again, I've crashed here again. Some people hate that you can't control the bike in the air, and obviously a lot of those people tend to float more towards the MX vs. ATV series because you can really control the bike in the air. But I like this game for what it is, which is a racing game, and so, you know, the racing aspects of it don't necessarily tailor to having super realistic air physics. Sure, do I wish that it was more realistic than kind of the staged whips that are going on right now? Yeah, totally, but I think it matters more about the speeds and the ground physics than it would the air physics in this game, and so far I'm liking the ground physics. It's a new challenge, but it's one that I think is working well so far, and I've liked it a couple times I've already played this game. There we go, hooked up in a rut and almost looped out. Because I mean, like I said, in past games, throttle control and like perfect timing of jumps and stuff like that, it didn't really matter much. Like I could kind of go wide open in a lot of the previous iterations of the MXGP series, or land to flat on a lot of these jumps and be totally fine, like not be affected at all because of the way that they had developed the, you know, ground physics. But now they've seemed to worked on those quite a bit. Obviously the graphical impressions are a little bit better in this game. And overall, I just, so far I'm really enjoying what I'm seeing out of this series as an improvement. Some of you may fall on the spectrum of not liking some of the things that they changed and wishing that they would go back, and I can understand where you're coming from there too, but from my perspective, I do feel like it was an improvement on a couple of the things when it comes to ground physics. I'm indifferent on the air physics right now, though. I still have to, I feel like I still have to kind of learn it before I can really make a just decision. I still wish you could like actually whip in this game though. Like you can do that thing now, which is kind of like a lean off the bike thing, but it's totally just scrubbing. So that's kind of going back to the whole racing game versus, you know, the air physics thing, which in a real motocross race, most of the time guys are not whipping. They're doing like either little, you know, leans or whatever that help when it comes to lining them up for the ground, or scrubbing. Whipping is usually reserved for like showboating or free riding. So I'm indifferent. I don't know. I feel like I'm kind of talking myself into a circle here because on one hand I'm saying I wish air physics were freer, as everybody does. On the other hand, I feel like I'm kind of okay with it because it is a racing game, so fall kind of in the middle ground of it, I suppose. Let's do one more lap on this track and then I'll call it a video. Just getting a little bit more of a taste of this is actually a 452, which the video you guys have seen so far I was riding a 250F. So hopping onto the 450 to test it out. I'm gonna try to run down my Ghost here for the last lap. Although he's a pretty good Ghost, 113.9 on a muddy track, stock bike. I'm coming up short on this triple. Yep. Dude, who put that bush in the middle of the track? Someone's got to knock that thing down. As I get more into the game too, what I plan on working on is the tuning aspects of the game, because I also notice that's a big thing. You can work on the bike quite a bit. You can obviously add the customization options, but I'm talking about actually finding setups that work in certain things. Like in the mud, I'd imagine maybe stiffening up the suspension will help out just a little bit. And here we go, down to the finish line one more time. Did a 120 this last lap on an invalid lap because I guess I went off the track somewhere. And this has been a little bit of the Supercross compound gameplay in the mud, raining conditions. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I hope to see you guys back in all of our videos here in the MXGP Pro Series. We're going to have a lot more career videos, two-stroke gameplays, compound gameplays, multiplayers, tons of stuff coming up, I promise. And yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. So long for now.